right, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So the great white hope of New Zealand weightlifting failed to complete even one lift. The first trans athlete ever in the Olympic Games failed to complete a fucking lift. I'm not too sure what this fucking means either. This was the perfect opportunity for the fucking lads to finally prove once and for all we are the number one sex. It was a real opportunity to show that not only are men the strongest men, but men are also the strongest women. And this bitch didn't even complete a fucking lift. What a fucking wasted opportunity. And the media has been really low-key on it. I fucking Googled it just before to look for some articles, not to read the articles, because I wanted to read the comment section. The comment section on the articles of the trans athlete not completing a fucking lift was going to be brutal, but I can't find any articles. Not any real articles. That's probably why, actually. They're just like, hey, how about we just not do any articles on this? Or if we do, let's turn the comment section off, because it's going to get pretty heated in there. I'm tipping the comment section wasn't going to be like, you're an absolute inspiration. It doesn't matter that you couldn't get the bar over your head. Just making it to the Olympics is achievement enough. There might have been one or two comments like that, but the rest of it, all we need to do is use a little bit of imagination. It wasn't going to be pretty in those comment sections, but yeah, there's no fucking articles. It was 4 hours ago. But I'm not too sure what happens after that. If trans people keep losing to chicks, eventually they're going to have to say, hey, these bitches have an unfair advantage over trans people. We're taking away the testosterone limit. And now, ladies, you'll be competing against actual dudes. Eventually that will happen. If trans people keep losing, they're eventually going to argue to raise the testosterone level. They'll be like, hey, look, thanks for letting me into the Olympics and shit, but with my testosterone so low, I can't compete with these fucking bull dykes. They're terrifying. I was in the change rooms earlier. I thought I was in the wrong change rooms. I thought I was in the old change rooms, my old change rooms. I think the Chinese weightlifter won that event, and in all fairness, if you look at the male and female Chinese weightlifting teams, it's pretty hard to tell the fucking difference by eye. There could be a little bit of fucking crossover in those teams. Anyway, it is Monday and it is time for another installment of Ask Boyle. Ask me a question, send me a line. Don't be shy because it's Ask Boyle time. So this week's Ask Boyle was sent in by Eric all the way from Canada. I don't know why I say all the way. It wasn't sent in by homing pigeon. He just fucking emailed it to me. Takes about the same time to get here as anywhere else in the world, like 0.1 second. Anyway, here is this week's question. What has your wife noticed since you quit drinking? I know you met her when you were sober, but then got back on it. Like, what is her opinion of aspects and characteristics of your being now that you've quit? Does she like you more? Does she miss getting drunk with you? How disappointed would she be if you drank again? That is a good question. There's a little bit to it. So my wife 100% without a doubt prefers me sober. She much, much prefers the me I am now to the me I was like 2.5 years ago. It's not even a comparison. It's basically two different people. When I was drinking, I put my wife through some serious fucking bullshit because I wasn't a quiet drunk. I was a rowdy drunk, so there was always some fucking drama I was getting into. Whether it was getting arrested, whether it was getting into fights, coming back home injured, embarrassing the fuck out of her in front of her friends or people we know, saying some harsh shit, getting lippy to everyone, completely ignoring any responsibility I have, then also getting stuck in my own ego, so there would be so many fights, so many fucking fights. I would get ultra defensive, then stubborn, then go for the jugular, and then go off my head. I was way angrier too. I'm still pretty angry, but it's not to the same fucking extent. I would go out drinking and just never message or call. I would spend all the money. Like, I was a nightmare. And it was highly stressful for her. Very fucking stressful. Every now and then, she'll roll off like a bunch of shit I used to do when I was drunk. And she'll look at me now, and she'll give me this look like, yeah, you're sober now, but why am I still with you after all this shit? And I'm like, I have no fucking idea, actually. You hung in there. I reckon if she wasn't Indian, we would have got divorced for sure. I think that little bit of cultural taboo around divorce in India just kept her hanging in long enough for me to sort my shit out. But the drinking was causing like 98% of our problems, for sure. But now she doesn't have to worry about any of that shit. She's very relaxed now. I still fly off the handle on the reg, but it's much less intense. The other part of your question, does she miss being able to get drunk with me? Well, that's a little bit complicated. She sort of misses being able to have a few drinks with me, but she totally doesn't miss it actually because it was just too stressful for her. And it was never like a few relaxing drinks with me either. I don't think I ever had a few relaxing drinks in my life, but she would like to be able to sit there and have a couple of drinks with me and have a good time. But she knows I am incapable of doing that, so she doesn't really pine for that at all. She much prefers me how I am. Although, what I think she does miss, and which I feel a little bit of guilt about, I think she wishes she had a partner that could just go out and have a couple of wines with dinner or a couple of beers on the weekend. You know, just to let the hair down a little bit, enjoy each other's company, which I feel guilty about. I wish I could do that too. I wish I could fulfill that need or want, but I just can't. So I have to make it up in other areas, which I don't. I definitely don't make it up in other areas either. I'll probably have to start doing that pretty soon. And the final one, what would she do if I started drinking again? Well, she had nothing really to do with me quitting drinking. Like, she didn't give me an ultimatum or anything. She's like, yeah, you've got a problem with drinking. You need to stop drinking. But she never like forced it on me. It all came from me. But now that we've had this like 2-year stretch of me being sober, it would be over between us in like a month. She would never want to go back to that life again. No way. If I started drinking again, she would be out. And I would totally understand that. She would never want to go back to that life. I think she's surprised she even made it through in the first place. So yeah, another incentive not to drink again. She actually said to me, because originally I was going to quit drinking, and then when my son turns 18, I was going to have my first drink with him after however many fucking years. And she said to me quite a few times that the idea that I'm going to start drinking again in like 10 years, 12 years, gives her anxiety. So she has like PTSD, but I'm not going to start drinking again. I'm done for good. My son doesn't need to be introduced to the Boyle on his 18th birthday. That's not a present. So anyway, I hope I answered your question, Eric. And that will do for tonight. If you have any Ask Boyles you'd like to send in, hypotheticals, anything, send them through to my social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Or email me on boylecomedy@gmail.com. Or join the Patreon and send them through that. Links are in my social media bios. Anyway, that will do for tonight, and I'll see ya the fuck later.